All right. Hi. My name's Tristan. This is my channel Midnight Fish, and today I'm doing the artist spread. So this is a reading for anyone that's an artist, anyone that creates, or it could be anything: painting, writing. I always say the same thing: sculpture. But there's thousands of different kinds of arts all across the world in different cultures, and in everyday lives as well, isn't there? Just even making breakfast can be an art if you put enough into it. All right, so first card from my mum this morning is number 20. This is like a meeting, networking of people. The gardens entreat to a party you'll go, a new friend you'll meet, romance will upflow. Faithful your friendship when you're not far off, but away on a trip your love is soon scoffed. Creativity meeting, party event, the public, audience, network of people. So something you're going to, you might meet someone. It doesn't necessarily have to go the way the poem says. My brain's not braining this morning. Grab a couple cards from the last oracle. Let's see what's the business going on today. Oh, it's still very cold. Last night was very hard frost. You can tell where I'm from, well, at least where I live, because the first thing my brain goes to is talking about the weather. It's very British. I'm quite sure I didn't used to do that as much when I was living in South Africa, although I probably complained about it being too hot all the time. Okay, got number 8, disenchantment. You are protected. And the hand of fire, stoke your inner flame. All right, it's like the Ace of Wands almost. All right, so maybe you feel like you need protection for whatever reason. The cards are telling you that you are. Get this kind of spiritual feeling here. There's a moon, there's 3 women here, witches. They look like witches. Maybe you got like a spiritual protection. Maybe people are praying for you. I don't know why you'd need protection now. Maybe this party you're going to is quite dangerous. Let's hope you're all right. Okay, well, I don't have to hope. It says you are, so you wouldn't worry about anything. Hello. It's very talkative. Using the Mindscapes today. I really like them. They've got really pretty painted pictures. Yeah. Okay. 7 of Pentacles. It's like you're coming back to see if something's grown overnight. 4 of Cups. Feeling a bit wary about something. There's a decision you're having to make. 2 of Swords. Ace of Cups. Okay. The Hanged Man. It's an Arctic polar bear. New perspectives. Okay. About an obstacle. 9 of Wands. Or your protection. Okay, here's this thing about protection again. But new perspective about feeling safe. Oh, I don't know. Page of Cups. About starting something new that you're very passionate about that could lead to something good. Okay. All right, so this reading is 5 positions. 3 of Swords in position 1, what you put into your art. What your art says about how you see the world is the Page of Pentacles. What inspires your best work is the Tower. Wow. Jesus. What your art inspires in others is the Devil. Who am I talking to today? Crikey Moses. And the message from the Muse is the Knight of Wands. We had night energy down here as well, didn't we? Queen of Wands, yeah. Passion. 7 of Swords, deceit. Okay. Three of Swords is what you put into your art. This is a broken bridge. Yeah, real turmoil and pain. Loneliness and despair. Misery. Jesus. So like, maybe you write really sad books or paint sad pictures or draw pictures that are sad or make music that's sad, or there's 100 different things. Maybe you cry, bake, like you only bake when you're sad kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully you do. Okay, so that's what you put into your art. Let's see if the cards agree. Page of Pentacles again. I've seen come up twice now. Okay. What your art says about how you see the world. Alright, so the Three of Swords. So, oh God, really chatty. King of Swords here. So you use language. You're very good at what you talk about. This could be music again, or speeches, something verbal. And it's the pain of your past that you're talking about. Okay. Emotions you hide. There's the Moon. Yeah, so it could be spoken word or written word or lyrical. Page of Wands, very fiery energy. Can we just get an answer, please, before you spurt all over my table? Wow, you feel locked out about something at the moment. You were going to get something, but it's not happening. Yeah, some cycles completed. You had connections, now you don't. A Magician. Okay. So this past hurt, what's it got to do with? Is it family, experiences in love? Big tragic events. A lot of people use art to justice. Okay. So it's about the justice that you didn't get in the past. Fuck's sake. This deck needs to calm down. Come on. Sorry, guys. Flipping heck. One more try, and then I might just give up. Okay. Very buzzy energy. All right, that's enough. So this past hurt is to do with, okay, this justice again. So the Six of Wands, this is things that you, 6, 10 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles. Justice you didn't get, victories that might have hurt, or things that you didn't get, that you felt you deserved, perhaps. I don't know, what's the Six of Wands about? 10 of Cups. Okay, this is definitely pain in family, pain in relationship. Oh, Queen of Swords. So you come up as King of Swords earlier. This is definitely to do with relationships. So pain in relationships. Family. Pain in family. Could be relationships with your partners, your family, or your friends. I don't know how else to explain it, but yeah, maybe they didn't support you. You don't feel like you were supported, or you had to beg for their help. You were alone in this family. This family that's got lots of money, and you're alone. Where all you want to do is work together, but you're alone. You're really creative, waiting for something to come and sweep you off your feet and take you out of that pain. So that's what you put into your work, all the pain about your past. I've got pain in my shoulder now. That's from work though, it's not from doing tarot. In fact, if I did this for a job every day, I probably wouldn't have a pain in my shoulder. Page of Pentacles is what your art says about how you see the world. You see the world as a place where you can make plans to achieve things. You're looking through this window. There's a sense of separation here. But Page of Pentacles is that first step towards achieving Ten of Pentacles. It's building some sort of business or an idea, wanting to succeed. The world is a place where you can succeed. Yeah. So even though you put all this pain into your art, you still try and show the world as a place where you can overcome that, perhaps. Yes, Three of Swords. So where you can overcome your pain and achieve 4 wands here. Or to do with the pain of 4-1 celebrations, marriages, contracts, things you do together with people in community. But yeah, it takes hard work. Yeah. So you know that it takes hard work. You have to be a good study. You have to like really work hard at what you're doing. Page of Swords, and find the truth of things and take higher perspectives. And that you might come up against opposition. Because, you know, it's hard to work with people who might be jealous of you or, you know, trying to win in the same field. You know, at the end of the day, it is all competition. The Sun. Yeah. And the Knight of Swords. Yeah. And the world is a place where you need to illuminate everything before you take action. As a Knight of Swords. So you make your plan from your little window. Yeah, and then you go out and you achieve things. And that's what you say the world is like. It's not necessarily what you do in your day-to-day. This is what you're saying the world. This is what you're saying the world is like when you do your art, whatever it is, this written or spoken word, or, I mean, it could be visual, I don't know. But it's very swordsy, which is language, mental. Yeah. Maybe you tell stories about somebody who's doing all this plan and they get this massive spark of inspiration and they go out and achieve something great, you know, kind of like that's the vibe. Okay. Yeah. It's all to do with pain from the past. There's pain in the family, about achieving, or maybe. So what inspires your best work is the Tower. So when shit goes wrong in your life or in other people's lives, you know, there's a sense of watching. Oh, look, it's trying to talk again. So is this in the world, in your life, in other people's lives? Is it all of it, perhaps? But yeah, just like, it's like the same strike of lightning. Maybe you create characters where something like that happens, and it's a bit like it's an old example to use, but in Star Wars, when Luke goes back and he finds his aunt and his uncle have been killed, that's like the spark point for the whole story. That's what drives him then. He this awful thing has happened to him. It's destroyed his life. He's not got a home anymore. These people don't have a home anymore. Yeah, the home. 10 of Pentacles. Star, High Priestess, 9 of Cups. Okay, 4 of Pentacles. And there's the Devil again. Okay, he's hanging around. The Magician and 6 of Swords. Very... When towers happen in your life or in other people's lives, it almost like breaks the veil and you can get really good in touch with your intuition. I was thinking about this last night, actually. Yeah. Extreme psychological distress can alter the brain and how the brain works. And I think that's sometimes how people can be seen as magical powers and telling the future. Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, okay. And the 3 of Wands. Right, yeah. So every time a tower happens, you feel like the world is literally going, here's a new beginning. Another Ace of Pentacles that you can grow to make a 10 of Pentacles. And then a new beginning starts, the 3 of Wands. That inspires your best work. You get this flash, this idea from this event that you've either witnessed or gone through. It's like a flash of inspiration. So you must either seek it out. So you look out for towers happening in other people's lives, or you try to create them. Subconsciously, perhaps in your own, or in other people's lives, hopefully not. Because that would be quite cruel just for, you know, the sake of inspiration. Although people do all kinds of things, don't they? Yeah. The devil is what your art inspires in others, which is pretty intense. This is this nightlife scene. It's very in contrast to what the muse is telling you, which is camping. This Knight of Wands, he's back in touch with nature. He's back in touch with his primal source of inspiration here. Here it's reflected. It's almost like the spark is being diffused. I'm not sure what this inspires in others. It might be to be more risky, to party more, to maybe explore their own dark sides. Maybe obsession. I'm not quite sure. I've not had the devil come up in this position before. But he's not too ominous. It's almost like you can almost see that this is a dangerous street to walk down, perhaps, but maybe only if you knew it was like a place where a lot of crime happened. But it could just be any street anywhere. It could be like the most upmarket, safest street in the world. How would you know? Unless you lived there and knew. Just because it says the devil. So this might be your art gets people to try and look at their dark sides, because a lot of the times that's where we shove our pain. About love. Death is underneath there, rebirth. Okay, so okay. Let's see. I'm a bit stumped. It's a bit odd. Well, I'll have to get a little bit more direction, see if it confirms anything I've said. What are you spitting out? Four of Wands. Okay, party. Party, party, party. To let loose a bit, maybe. Temperance. Wow. I got to tell you, temperance just cancels out the devil. And there's justice, which creates justice. And there's the Knight of Wands, what you finish on. More confusing read I don't think I've ever had. To take more chances, to death and rebirth. Okay, Ace of Cups. Wow, these two cards have just jumped back up. There's balance. I'm a bit stumped, so I'm just going to drink my coffee for a bit. So like when you create art, you either have an audience of other artists or just people. And like people consume art for many different reasons. Like people listen to Taylor Swift for a particular reason, and then they listen to maybe the System of Down for a particular reason, whatever your music tastes are. Your art inspires people to look at their darkest sides and try and be reborn into a better person, to heal their heart spaces. But this temperance energy suggests it's doing it with the knowledge that you have to balance out these dark sides with temperance energy and justice. And it's only then that you can take really inspired action in your life. So that's what your art inspires in other people, which is pretty cool. Right, let's move some cards around. I always like it when the devil comes up and then immediately the angel pops up at the bottom. I'm like, thank you. Yeah. So the message from the muse is this Knight of Wands, which came up at the bottom as well. This taking inspired action, but there's also this, because in here the Knight of Wands is that she's at a party. It's outside. She's not in a cityscape. There's something about maybe getting back to some sort of roots with nature, with what is really primal within yourself, and to get out of the city, actually. If you live in a city, I mean, you might live out rural, and this makes no sense, so whatever your situation is. But there's a fire there. It's about being outside and just sort of getting in touch with the basics, the primal source of what inspires you. Because Wands is about creativity, and that's sort of the only really creative strain that's come out in this reading. The rest of it's been very much about your emotions from the past, how you operate in the world, how your art shows the world and how you see the world. But there's not been that much fire here. In the Tower you get some fire with the 3 wands here, and that's the cycle of where terrible things happen. It inspires you. So yeah, this is about your creativity, your source. It's saying to get back to the source of what really inspires you, to take action in a creative way, in a healthy way. Okay, yeah. To move on from something, there's 6 swords here. I don't know what you're moving on from. Might be whatever this thing is that you feel that you need to be protected from. King of Swords. Page of Wands. Knight of Cups. 4 of Wands. 4 of Swords. Empress. Oh. Okay. Oh God. Okay, so you've either got some kind of choice you have to make that is literally giving you the migraine from hell. It doesn't necessarily need to be a pain in the head. Maybe you're feeling tired or overstressed or whatever it is. 5 of Swords is like 5 swords in the brain. It's like an argument, back and forth. And here we have the Lovers. So this might be with somebody you really care about. It might be with a partner, whoever you're arguing with. So maybe you just need to get away from that. Get away. Go camping. Get in touch with your primal source of fire. You got the Hand of Fire here. Sometimes just staring into a fire allows the brain to relax and not be distracted. We look at our phones so much. We used to look at the fire a lot more, which loosens up the mind. You need to loosen up your mind a bit. There's a real feeling of freedom in this tent with the fire and the trees, and just go for a walk. And this Hand of Fire, stoke your inner flame. There's something inside you that you're not tending. You need to grasp it, even if it sets your hand on fire. So this new perspective is about, let's see, the Hanged One. Perhaps this new perspective is about this argument you're having. Whatever it is in this argument is telling you to not to stress, that you are protected. Disenchantment. Yeah, some sort of judgment. You're having to get a new perspective on some sort of judgment that's been made. This might be a decision in your life that you've made, that somebody else has made, that affects you. I don't know. Could be to do with your work. Could be a boss that's done something. Some sort of judgment. You're having to get a new perspective on this. And perhaps a time alone in the woods, in a tent, might help. I mean, it depends on where you are. You could always go stay in a log cabin. They got fires because it's quite cold this time of year. Depends. Knight of Pentacles. This came up earlier. He wanted to come out. If you get a new perspective on this, what felt like a directionless, slow-moving thing is something you're going to get a surge of inspiration from something, a new feeling for something that enables you to walk away from a lot of regret and get back in touch with your emotions, complete some sort of cycle and move forward. Temperance and the Ten of Swords. Yeah. I don't know what's ended in your life. Maybe a project. It might be something to do with a person, an event, a thing. I don't know. But some sort of ending. Ten of Swords. You could feel a bit betrayed, perhaps. You've had to walk away. There's a lot of regret. But if you get a new perspective, you will find a way where you can feel at home again in your life. You must be patient. And you need this new perspective. And you can get that perhaps by taking some time out somewhere in the outdoors by a fire. You don't have to necessarily be camping. But something about letting the mind settle and taking these 5 swords out about whatever this lovers thing, this choice, this decision. It could be a partner you're arguing with, or a friend or a family member. Maybe you're feeling very inspired at the moment because it seems to be that Towers is where you get your inspiration from. So who knows? Now this is going to be fun because I'm going to do, what should you do? And these cards are so spare. That's why I like them, because you kind of put the other cards on top to clarify, and it's like putting people into the scenes. Okie dokie. Oh wow. It's all over the place. 5 of Cups. Okay, so this is about the regret, to do with some judgment. Could be to do with whatever 5 Swords business this is. You've got some regret here. And here's the Ace of Wands. You need to grab this Ace of Wands and burn your hand on your own inspiration. How do we get over this regret? Staring out into a turbulent sea. Maybe you feel like that on the inside. And here's the Ace of Cups. Look, the sunrise comes up and the sea is calm. You have a decision to make. And you're gonna, oh yeah, this is either you're gonna hold back, or your decision is to do with whether you should continue to hold back on something. Ace of Cups. This is about what nourishes you and is what you love the most. It's the thing that makes you feel whole, you feel separated from. 4 of Tides. Lonely on that boat. You need to make a decision on whether you're missing out on something. Maybe you don't want to take part in something, or you don't want to do something, you're not sure if you should go. Yeah, it's like there's two, like there's a decision. So you're really indecisive. Really indecisive. I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you that there's 2 decisions. One leads to a very lonely ride on a boat, and the other leads to a beautiful new sunrise. And the margin of difference between these 2 decisions is so small. Might be hard for you to tell which one is the right one. I get the sense of follow your heart. If you follow your heart and not your regrets, regrets can make us do things. Try and make the decision as if you had no regrets. I mean, all of us say we have no regrets, but we all have at least 1 or 2. I mean, some people hold on to regret a bit more. You know, you could go into a shop and buy something and it turns out it was out of date and you couldn't get your money back and you regret buying that Happy Meal or whatever the fuck it was, but you're not going to remember that. It's the regrets that stay with us, or the ones that, you know, months later we're still regretting something, years later we're still regretting something. If you make the decision based on regret and the information regret gives you, it's going to end up lonely and not very good. If you follow your heart, you're going to get a new sunrise. But the margin of difference between these 2 things is, it's really hard for you to look through the lens to make the right decision, because there's such a little difference between these 2 peaks. It's like a hair, you know when 2 racehorses finish a finishing line and it's just like the little bit of nose hanging over or something. So yeah. You have to pick apart your regrets in the situation, and you have to make your decision as if you don't have any, or really understanding the regrets and where the mistakes were made on your part. And because regret can put you in a state of remorse and fear and irritation sometimes, because no one likes to feel regret. Because regret has got to do with making a mistake, right? If you regret something, it's that you did something and it turns out it wasn't the right decision. So it can really make you defensive, because you don't want to have to, first you have to admit to yourself you did something wrong, and then you might have to admit to other people, yeah, I fucked up, I regret that. But then you're going to be on the guard, and you're going to make decisions from a defensive position that doesn't really allow sunrises to come in. You're going to stay in the state of Four of Cups, which is not letting sunrises come in. There is sunrise there. There is a sunrise here. You just have to make the right decision. Follow your heart. Okay, here we got the moon, which came up earlier. A conscious shift is needed. So your mental state needs to shift. Here, the Hanged Man with this business going on down here. What you put in is what you get out. Okay. Consider how you really feel, and your experience is not universal. I feel like the universe is telling you off today. It's literally a phone call from the moon. Like you're having a phone call from your deepest emotions saying, like, you need to really reassess something in your mental space, how you perceive the world. Not everyone has the same experience as you. None of us have the same experience as anyone else. You can have people in certain situations that might have the same experience. But even in a controlled environment like a prison, everyone's experience in prison is very different. Not that I've been to prison, but I can imagine some people get beat up and some people don't. You know, those are two very different experiences. Yeah. What you put in is what you get out. Consider how you really feel. Deep down. How do you really feel deep down? Not just whatever comes up. You know, when you first go through something, you get a whole mix of emotions, like a washing machine. Some stick out louder than others. Some you drop, you go, oh, I don't actually need to feel that way, it's fine. What is the real, how do you really feel? Yeah, and I think you can only get in touch with that when you get some peace and quiet and silence and the time to maybe stare at a fire. You can even have a fire inside. You can stare at a little burner. You can put a candle on. If you haven't got access to any of that, put a candle on. Stare at the candle. Just be careful what you think into the candle. Just to have some fire around you. Very nice message from the angels today. Fertility and growth. This means it's your time to thrive. How can you expand today? All right. Yeah. Maybe a bit of growth and expansion. All right. Well, that's my message for today. I hope you enjoyed yourself. If you did, please do the same. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a good time. Thank you for listening. I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye.